Black holes are matter-sucking mammoths that devour right about everything on their path. But do you know that they have a twin that is just as devastating as they are? Yes, this equally deadly twin is known as the white hole. And while a black hole mercilessly guzzles down everything on its path, a white hole prances the universe like a military spaceship, furiously spewing out matter and radiation at the speed of light, reducing everything on its path to space dust. But what happens when a black hole and a white hole collide? Join us as we explore the epic showdown between these two cosmic phenomena of devastating proportion. Let's meet the first contender in this showdown of universal proportions, the black hole. When a massive star dies, it loses enough of its fuel to form a supernova, which is essentially a shell of the dead star. However, this shell does not remain inactive. It becomes a black one-way tunnel of no return in space-time that sucks in virtually everything on its path. Now, this space mammoth is known as the black hole, one of the most massive objects in the universe that attracts and devours everything on its path. Indeed, nothing survives around the black hole because nothing is strong enough to resist its pull. So anything that dares to be around a black hole has signed up for a journey of no return. Now, while we know a lot about the black hole, very little is known about its inverted twin, the white hole. Most of what we know about the white hole is largely speculation because, in reality, no one has witnessed or even created a simulation of it. However, scientists believe that you can describe this antithesis of a black hole by simply making a video of the black hole and playing it backward. In essence, the white hole is a black hole in reverse. But what does this mean in practice? Let us see some of the characteristics of the second contender in this epic showdown. While the black hole is a known gulper, its antithetical twin is a furious shooter. Unlike the black hole, which pulls in, the white hole pushes out, which is why nothing can get into a white hole. But here's the twist. You cannot tell the difference between a black hole and a white hole by merely observing it from a distance, except when either they approach a celestial object. Now, we've established that black holes suck in and destroy while white holes spew out and obliterate. But what if the object on a white hole's path is its perfect antithesis? The black hole. What would the collision of these two opposites look like? And what will the scale of its effect on the universe be? Imagine for a minute that on one hand, you have a large suction tube connected to a huge reservoir, while on the other hand, you have another tube of equal size shooting dirt and debris into the large suction tube. This paints a picture of what a collision of these two would look like, a battle of two opposites marked by extreme energy transfer between both parties. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of what happens between these two, let us see what the collision will look like from observation. First off, if a white hole encounters a black hole, the two celestial phenomena will merge into one. So by mere observation from a distance, the collision will look like the formation of a large black hole. But in theory, something entirely different and unobservable to the human eye is happening. Before we get to that, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell for more educational content like this. Alright, so what actually happens when the black and white holes merge into one? For one, this marriage produces a hybrid hole known as the gray hole. Secondly, both celestial phenomena maintain their characteristics in the alliance. So you have a giant tunnel that acts like both a white hole and a black hole simultaneously. The white hole will keep spitting out matter, and the black hole will keep sucking them into its bottomless tunnel. In the end, you have a setup with the white hole endlessly feeding the black hole like water down the drain. Now, let's go back to the suction tube analogy for a minute. If the tube shooting debris into the suction tube continues long enough, it will overfill the reservoir, beyond which the reservoir wouldn't be able to take in any more matter. But does this analogy apply in a collision between a white hole and a dark hole? Well, after the merger between the two cosmic bodies, the white hole will keep feeding the black hole with tons and tons of matter at the speed of light, But instead of overfilling like in the analogy, the black hole will keep expanding to accommodate the inflow, thus increasing in size. This arrangement has immense implications for the universe on several levels. To begin with, the proportion of this feeding arrangement is so huge that it can go on for thousands of years without the black hole ever getting filled to capacity. Why? Because the white hole has an almost infinite capacity to keep spewing matter, and the black hole also has the same capacity to keep swallowing whatever the white hole spews out. Of course, in the end, one of them would have to give in. Now, which would it be, the black hole or the white hole? Since we don't know much about the white hole and its characteristics, we're going to have to say the black hole. So what would victory for the black hole look like? With the constant influx of matter to the black hole, it will expand and grow so massively until it gets big enough to suck the white hole into its dark and bottomless abyss. But this is as far as the certainty in this showdown can go, because from this point on, the outcome is left to speculation and hypothesis. However, from the speculations, we have three possible endings to this showdown of epic proportions between a black hole and a white hole. That said, let's take a deep dive into the three possible endings. The first possible outcome is the black hole shrinking into oblivion. Wait a minute, I thought it was supposed to increase in size after sucking in something of epic proportions as a white hole? Well, turns out that according to the theory of Hawking radiation, black holes gradually shrink due to natural withering. And what follows this natural withering is a massive release of energy and eventual obliteration of the black hole. This explanation sounds simple, right? Well, some scientists think so too, but they believe there's a more complicated ending to the interaction than this, which takes us to the second possible ending to this affair. Some scientists believe that rather than the black hole collapsing and going cold, the black hole would end like a phoenix, bringing forth something new from the ashes of its death. So they believe that the black hole will collapse and become small. But rather than shrinking to death, it will rise as something new. And what is that something new? A white hole. All right, now let's take a look at the third possible ending of this black hole-white hole interaction. If you were to guess where the matter sucked in by a black hole goes to, what would you say? Interestingly, some scientists believe the black hole's dark and infinite tunnel ends in a white hole, which means there might be light at the end of the tunnel after all. But this has a more important implication because it means that the matter sucked into a black hole no longer exists in this universe. If this is true, then the third possible ending to this collision is no ending at all. That is, the collision between a black hole and a white hole ends in an infinite loop of the white hole spitting out matter and the black hole gulping it all up. Now over to you, what is the best possible ending to this collision? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. That said, thank you for staying on till the end. See you in the next video.